In this video, I interview Google Ads specialist Brad Putney. Brad is Google Ads certified and he's managed over 600 campaigns. Now I'm talking Google Ads, display, those are the ads that show up on other websites managed through Google, YouTube ads as well, also managed through Google Ads. And one thing to note about Brad is he's actually even been invited out to Google's campus in Northern California. Now, Brad's not only a friend, but he's actually the specialist I use when running and managing my own Google Ads campaigns. Now, trust me, finding a good Google Ads specialist is a tough thing to do. I've gone through a few myself, so Brad is the guy. In this video, we're going to talk about what is a Google Ad. He's going to define and cut through some of the jargon that you might hear. And then Brad's going to talk about what makes up a good Google Ads campaign and how you can get ROI. Then finally, we're going to bust some myths that we commonly hear. So sit back and enjoy. Brad, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm just going to get right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to do what it is that you do now?
Oh, thanks, Michael. Well, thanks for having me today. So how did I get to do this? So I started out working for an online retailer. They had both online retail and they had brick and mortar. And I started out working in the brick and mortar department and eventually made my way up to the marketing department. And they were doing search, display, and a little bit of shopping, a little bit of Amazon, but that's really where I learned how to do it. And since then, I have left that online retailer or that brick and mortar online retailer, and I've started my own consulting business. So in the 8 years that I've been doing this on my own consulting, I like to say I've built, managed, repair, fixed, maintained more than 600 accounts, and I do all the Google Ads. I do search, display, shopping, and YouTube.
So in your opinion, Brad, why can Google Ads be so effective and what type of business benefits the most from them?
Well, okay. So all businesses benefit from Google Ads. If a Google Ads account is run correctly and smartly and strategically, everybody who has a website can benefit from Google Ads. So let's jump back. The best though, the people that see the most effect are e-commerce. E-commerce clients, because I can measure that click from search to ad to into the website, to into the shopping cart, to paid. We can measure that revenue. That's where it becomes really powerful because we can measure that money. But I don't discourage anybody from doing Google Ads. And here's why. First of all, Google Ads is the 600-pound gorilla in this market. They are a force to be reckoned with. We all know you use Google, I use Google. Everybody we know uses Google. It's actually, it's become part of the lexicon. Let's Google something to find out about it. So that's the primary reason. The secondary reason is more kind of the technical, and I don't want to dive too deep, but Google has worked very hard over the years to tie that search term to the ad text, to the keyword, to the landing page. They're always looking for relevancy. They want the absolute highest relevant results. So when you type in a search into that search box, you get ads and organic results that speak to you. And that's really the benefit that's for advertisers is advertisers want to serve ads only to people who are interested. We don't want to serve irrelevant ads. We want to serve relevant ads that people want to click on. They want to come into our site. They want to buy. They want to do whatever they want to do. They want to browse, they want to learn, they want to download a white paper, whatever they want to do. We want them in that website. And that's why Google Ads are effective. Nobody else, it's pretty easy to say nobody else has that high relevancy that Google has.
Do you specialize in just Google Ads? And if so, why? Or do you dabble in Bing, Facebook, etc.?
I do specialize in Google Ads. Only because of that first that I mentioned. They're the 600-pound gorilla. Everybody wants to start with Google Ads, and I'll say it openly, I push people toward Google Ads to at least start there. I do Bing ads, I do Facebook ads. They both can be effective. Google Ads, Bing works well for certain demographics, and if you have that demographic and you've got a Google ad campaign and you've got it dialed in, you can very easily translate it to Bing. So we'll talk Google and Bing together. Facebook ads are a different animal, and they are not keyword driven. So that's kind of the first piece you have to look at. Facebook ads are not keyword driven. They're going to be in the future. I can see that coming down the pipe. But Google and Facebook serve two very different goals and strategies. So you have to first kind of look, what is my primary goal on my website? And then secondarily, okay, does Google or Facebook set up better for that? And I do Facebook and I do Bing, but I am a Google specialist because they are that 600-pound gorilla.
So just curious, who is that demographic that benefits a little more from Bing?
Don't get me in trouble here. And I'm part of the demographic. I am the Bing demographic. The demographic is a little bit older. It's they're not as technically savvy, and you're going to get me in trouble, Michael. But those are the two things. Oh, and the other thing is they're Microsoft loyal. Bing ads people are very. They found that they're very Microsoft loyal. They use other Microsoft products. So that's who Bing is. But it's generally a little bit older, and it's a little less internet savvy.
So is this true? And I've heard this about Bing. Is part of the reason is that Bing comes pre-installed or the default browser or search engine on Microsoft devices, and that's why?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's not a myth.
No, that's not a myth. On the good old iPhone, if you don't change your settings, you're going to do a Bing search.
Sure. So would you just quickly talk about maybe some of the jargon that we hear when it comes to Google Ads campaigns? There's, PPC, there's SEM. Sum it up in a nutshell for us.
Okay. Well, let me do the best that I can do and think of all the jargon that we use, because we use a lot of it. The overarching is you're going to hear SEO and SEM. SEO is search engine optimization. When I think of SEO, I think of the organic results, making your website better to move yourself up the organic results. SEM is search engine marketing, which I think of over on that's the paid side. And I know that's confusing, but usually SEM is paid. And when I think of SEM, I think of the search, the display, the YouTube, and the shopping. PPC is pay per click, and that's how we primarily pay for the ads that we're running. So we don't pay for impressions. We only pay for those ads when somebody clicks on it. So that's pay per click. You'll also hear that referred to on the Facebook side. Facebook ads can be pay per click. Bing ads are pay per click. YouTube, you can set up YouTube as pay per click, and you can set up display ads as pay per click. But it's the idea that the advertiser is not paying for an ad until somebody clicks on that ad.
So could I sum it up like this?
Yeah.
SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization, is earned placement.
Okay.
SEM, short for search engine marketing, is paid.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Is there ever a scenario where SEM isn't paid ads?
That's a great question.
Because I don't think of it that way. I would always just say SEM is paid, but maybe I think these terms kind of get thrown around and often blended and confused.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, if you wanted to be a stickler about it, SEM that encompasses SEO because SEO is search engine marketing, right? I mean, you're writing better meta, you're writing better content, you're doing all the right things. You are marketing the website to move it up the search results. So yeah, absolutely, you can exchange them. I
agree. I think SEM should really over encompass both sides of things. I don't know why it doesn't seem to. And I think then the term pay-per-click really ends up sometimes being the umbrella for paid ads, even though it might, there's display ads, you just explained the different types, but people end up just overarching calling paid ads PPC.
Right. Absolutely. I don't know how deep you want to dig in, but, we use impressions, clicks. Impression is actually an ad showing. Click is the actual click on that ad. Then you're going to hear CTR, or click-through rate, and that's clicks divided by impressions, and that's a measure of relevancy. The other jargon word you may hear is conversions, and conversion is truly what it is, it's the last and final action we want a visitor to take when they're on our website, whether that's buy something from us, download a white paper, give us their name, give us their email, give us their phone number, whatever it is, it's that last and final action. That's a conversion.
So you're a Google Ads expert. Tell us, can you define really what really are Google Ads compared to, organic search?
Okay, so this is, I like to show this one a lot. This Kohler does it and does it well, and they know how to do it. So I just typed into my search, I typed in Kohler toilets, and let me zoom in just a little bit here. So into the search, and we're talking Google search now. This is not display, this is not YouTube. This is Google search. And it's keyword triggered, meaning keyword triggered is I typed in a keyword, I typed in Kohler toilets, I hit search, and this is the search results that we saw. You'll sometimes hear this referred to as the SERP, the SERP, the search engine
results page.
Got it. Okay. So here's what you got. So you've got and you can see the little ad box here. You've got 1, 2, 3. You've got 3 text ads or search ads. Then below this, we call these organic. So this 1, 2, 3 here, these are organic. And it's also the other phrase that we use, you're going to hear us say, is we're going to say above the fold. I haven't moved my screen yet. So everything is above the fold. And this is also true for mobile devices and laptop and tablet devices. This is everything above the fold because I haven't moved my screen yet. So then as I move my screen, you're going to see the stuff what we call below the fold. So you're going to get another organic result. You're going to get a shopping result here, organic.
So my next question would be, how does one tell the difference between an ad and an organic, and should they?
So as a searcher, it makes no difference to you. What you want to do is, if you're a smart searcher, you're going to click on the either ad. So first, what is an ad? You can see the ad, that little ad box there. So that's what we call a paid result. So if you click on that ad, the advertiser, meaning Kohler's going to pay for that click. You click on organic. This is just an organic result that showed up naturally because Kohler has a website and they have a well-maintained website. You click on this, it doesn't cost anybody. As a searcher, it doesn't matter to you what you click on. You're going to click on what's going to speak to you the most, meaning what's going to be the most relevant to you. So for example, maybe ad 2 here speaks to me because it says at Home Depot, and I know I've got a Home Depot just right down the street, so I know I can find Kohler toilets at the Home Depot. So that's maybe what I want to click on. Maybe this first organic result appeals to me because it says browse toilets. I don't know what I'm looking at yet, so maybe I'm just going to go browse. So that organic result is going to speak to me, and that's, as a searcher, that's the smartest way to handle that. Let me just go through what you're seeing as an ad. So let's now switch gears from I'm the searcher to I'm the advertiser. So what am I seeing in the ad? So here's what you're seeing. So in this first ad, you're seeing, this is what we call headline 1 between browse and toilets. That's headline 1. This is headline 2, the official Kohler site. Right underneath it, this is the display or vanity URL. Then underneath it, these are review extensions. Then this piece here, okay, so from here, get to shop now, that's description 1. And this is all entered by the campaign manager, the advertiser. We punch all that in, we put it into the boxes. Then here, from incredible to innovation, yeah, well, let me see here. I don't want to have to count characters, but that's description 2. Again, that's fully entered into the advertising boxes. Other stuff we're going to find here down in ad 2, you're going to get a third headline, this free shipping, easy returns. That's headline 3. And then down here at the bottom, you're going to get what's called a location extension. So when you connect your Google My Business account with your Google Ads account, you're also going to get a location extension. And when you click on that, it's going to take you right straight to a map or the Google My Business result for that Kohler Home Depot. The click on this, clicking on the headline, clicking on the ad, clicking on the location extension are all the same cost to the advertiser.
So tell me why ad 1 doesn't have that material, the location and the phone number, the hours?
And I know this will drive some clients and some advertisers crazy. It's all about the algorithm. The Google algorithm is going to look at our ads and look at what has been successful in the past, look at our history from our account, and it's going to serve the headlines, the extensions, the descriptions that have been the most successful and is most likely to draw the click. That's what Google's all about. Google wants to serve an ad that is most likely to draw the click. So it looked at ad number 1 and it said, I don't need to serve headline 3 because I know in the past from looking at their history, headline 1 and headline 2 get it done.
Sure. So basically what you're saying is we're going to, in our campaign manager in the back end, we're going to give Google a variety of different headlines and text copy, and then Google more or less picks what works best.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep, that is it.
So one final thing, tell me about the reviews and how it pulls from the reviews. Where's that coming from?
Okay, so that's pulling, that's also pulling out of Google My Business. So, and you need to have X number of reviews, and I'm sorry I don't have that number in front of me right now, but you need to have a lot of reviews, and they all need to be good reviews. You need to be X number of stars or better, and that's the connection between the Google My Business and the Google Ads.
Gotcha. So that's pulling from Google. It's not pulling from Yelp or Facebook or any other platforms. Okay.
Nope. So, and then just real quick, these are shopping ads. I guess we kind of skipped over that, but these image ads with a description and a review extension below it, these are shopping ads. And these are entered through what's called a merchant center. We won't dive too deep into them, but just kind of keep that in the back of your head that you actually build a feed, and that feed gets uploaded to Merchant Center, and then Google Ads pulls the data down out of Merchant Center. They're really effective, and you can see why they're effective, because not only do you get a description here and a quick headline, but you also get an image. The other advantage of running shopping ads is if I click on this right here, if I click on that headline, it takes me right straight to the product page.
So I am going to make you just dive a little bit deeper on that, but you don't have to get too in-depth. But who would this be a good option for, these shopping ads?
Shopping ads are primarily designed for people who are selling stuff online, what we call e-commerce. If you're selling product online, shopping ads are a good idea for you. If you've got a different kind of account, if you're looking for lead gen or you're looking to drive traffic to a brick and mortar, these shopping ads are not designed for you. If you're specifically selling product online and you have a shopping cart engine, or what's the word I'm looking for? If you have shopping attached to your website, you have shopping attached to your website, you're going to want to run shopping ads, and you're probably going to want to think shopping ads before search ads. Only for that very reason only, that you get an image and you get a description and you get an active link right straight to your product page.
So if I'm a local toilet store and I'm brick and mortar and I sell toilets physically but not online, why wouldn't this be a good option?
Well, if you don't have a shopping cart online, then you can't create a merchant center. You have to have the ability to sell online, or you can't create a merchant center account. Without a merchant center account, these ads don't work. Gotcha.
Can you define the difference a little bit deeper in terms of an impression versus a click, and what's more important?
If we're talking search, so let's just talk search and search only. The impression.
And I'm going to stop you right there. When you say search and search only, what do you mean by that?
Well, impressions in display are different than impressions in search. Remember, search is keyword driven. Display is targeted or remarketing. So the importance of impressions in search and display are different. So I want to talk search, because impressions in search, they only matter in the sense that we want relevant impressions to show up. Over in display, and we say we're going to run a branding campaign and we want a lot of impressions, then impressions become more important in display than they do in search, because in search, what's important to us is the click. We want to draw the click, and we really want to draw it relevant to the impression. So we want a high click-through rate in in a search ad. When we look at a display campaign, it's okay if our click-through rate slides down. And typically, if I'm running a search and a display campaign together, I'm okay if my click-through rate of my display campaign is about 1/10 or about 10% of a search campaign, because there the impression is more important. Over in search, I want the click. I want traffic into the website.
So why is the metric click-through rate so important?
Click-through rate is a measure of relevancy. So we want a high click-through rate because when we serve an ad, we want to draw the click. We don't want to serve a bunch of irrelevant ads. That doesn't help us. You know, it's what's a good example? We are, and I'm going to try not to offend anybody, but say you and I are the creative directors at Cosmopolitan Magazine. So we want to take in advertisers that are relevant to our demographic in Cosmopolitan Magazine. We probably aren't going to be running chainsaw ads. We probably aren't going to be running ATV ads or outboard engine ads in Cosmopolitan. That's not our demographic. So if you relate that over to digital, we want to serve ads or show ads that are relevant to those people that are searching our ads. So if we type in, for example, we go back to that Kohler toilet example. If you type in Kohler toilets, I probably don't want to serve an ad for Kohler engines or Kohler pumps, right? People aren't looking for a Kohler pump at that particular instant. They are looking for Kohler toilets. So we know their intent. Their intent is to look for a toilet and probably to buy a toilet in probably the next 7 to 10 days. So we want to serve toilet ads because we want to draw that click, bring them into the Kohler website, and hopefully either A, buy a toilet online from us, or B, as we saw from the ad, run out to Home Depot and go buy a Kohler toilet at Home Depot.
Yes, and I talk about intent a lot when I'm talking to people and potential clients. That is why I think Google is, so critical and can be so powerful, is because people are searching with that intent factor.
Agreed.
So real quick, you've touched on display ads. So to the layman, what is a display ad?
A display are the little image ads, and you're going to see them across the top of a website, maybe down the right-hand side of a website, maybe just right above or right below the fold in the middle of a website. If you're on your mobile device, you're probably, as you're scrolling, imagine you're scrolling through a news feed on USA Today or Wall Street Journal or something like that. It's going to show up right in the middle of that news scroll. That's a display ad. It's an image ad, and it typically will have a short description of what you're seeing in the image, and that's going to have a call to action, meaning it's going to tell you what they want you to do. Click here, buy now, shop now, browse now, whatever it is now. That's what an image ad is. And we can serve those in a couple different ways. We can serve them targeted, and we can target it based on keywords, based on placement meaning the URL. We can target based on demographic interests, and we can also do what's remarketing. I'm sure you've visited a website and then all of a sudden you notice these display ads or these image ads chasing you around. That's remarketing. So that's another way to serve those ads. But they are strictly set apart from text ads. They're image ads. They have text in them, but it's typically an image-based display ad.
Great. Well, I know we're running a little short on time, so I'm going to just spitball a few things, and these are more based on the maybe myths or just things you and I often hear in the business. So okay. Let's start with this question. Why doesn't my ad show up every time I search my keyword?
For a myriad of reasons, and I don't want to dive in too deep here. It's an auction, and simply said, every time you don't win the auction. It's based on the quality score of your keyword, the relevancy of your keyword, and how high your bid is, and it's a combination of all of those. So don't get hung up on my bid isn't high enough, because there are other pieces. They're just, especially if you're in a very competitive space, your ad isn't going to show up every time, because some of those competitors are going to win, and sometimes you're going to win. So, but we can measure that. That's the good news, is we can measure that. But don't expect your ad to show up every time. Also, I don't know how deep you want to dive in on this, but We try and tell our clients not to search your own keywords, because if you search your own keywords and you never click on an ad, you'll get locked out. So that will be another reason that your ads won't show up. A couple more reasons your ads won't show up: you may be out of budget. If you space your budgeting evenly over the day, it will only dole out so many impressions and so many ads per day, or per hour and per day. So you may have run out of budget for that day. The other reason is you may be outside the geography. We set the geography on a lot of these things. And if I'm in, for example, I'm in Cloquet, and somebody's running an ad down in Minneapolis, and I search an ad up here and they only want to serve that ad in Minneapolis, I won't see that ad.
I think the big one there is the fact that if you're the advertiser and you're constantly searching yourself but not clicking on it, Google will eventually stop showing you that ad because it sees you as not.
You're not a revenue source.
Yeah.
Google wants to make money. Google wants to serve ads that will get clicked on. So if you're a searcher who never clicks on ads, you're not going to see a lot of ads.
So here's one I hear a lot. People are afraid that competitors are going to click on their ad a bunch of times and blow their budget. Is that true or false?
Competitors try it. Google has, they have stops in place to stop that from happening. First of all, if you just click, if you click really fast in succession, Google will see that and they will shut that down. The second thing is you'll get a click report. If you go into your Google Ads, you'll get a click report. And if you see multiple clicks, just bang, 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 right down, that the Google algorithm hasn't caught, and you get charged for those. Two things can happen. Google may automatically see those and they may charge those back to your account. They may credit those back to your account. Or if you still feel like you're getting charged for a lot of clicks coming out of the same area, if you look at your IP or geography or however you want to look at it, and you still see a lot of clicks coming down really fast, you can contact a Google customer service representative and they'll investigate it further. Google doesn't want that to happen. They don't want it to happen for several reasons. First of all, they don't want you as an advertiser to be unhappy, because they want you to continue to advertise and continue to spend money and gain relevant clicks. The other thing is they don't want competitors out there abusing this system. They take great pride in this system working and working well. So they don't want people out there abusing it and saying that it's a system that doesn't work, or it's a system where you can blow your budget very quickly.
Well, on that same note, what do you have to say to people that are skeptical of Google and go, oh, Google's just ripping us off. Nobody clicks on those ads.
Well,
they're just in it for the money. It doesn't work.
To say, okay, so let's take each one of those. Google is ripping us off. Well, first of all, you're setting a budget so you know how much you're going to spend per day, per week, per month. So you can control how much you spend. In terms of Google's ripping you off, it's on you as an advertiser or a campaign manager to set your strategy, set your keywords, set your ads to make this thing work for you. It's really easy to set these campaigns up. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, it's really easy to set a campaign up. It's not so easy, and it's pretty difficult to make a campaign run really, really well and really dial it in. And it takes some experience and it takes some know-how how this works. Google is not in this business to rip you off. If you do it right, either you as an advertiser or a campaign manager, if you do it right, Google is extremely powerful. The other piece of that is, this goes back to, if I get my campaign dialed in, you can play with the big boys. If you dial in very specific keywords specific to your website, you build your quality scores, you bid correctly, you serve them correctly, you target them correctly, you do everything correctly, you can play with the big boys. Kohler was not a great example there because Kohler really does dominate the SERP, but small retailers and small advertisers can play with the big boys, and many times you'll see that. You'll see your ad against one of the big boys. I have a client who is I would call them a medium-sized business, but they play with Amazon, and the ability for us to show our ads against Amazon, it's taken a lot of work. In the beginning, when we first started doing it, Amazon dominated us, but we had to find side doors and we had to run around and we had to find keywords and bids that work for us so we could play with Amazon. What was the other? You had one more piece of that. Oh, nobody clicks on Google Ads. This is my absolute favorite. Nobody clicks on Google Ads. So in 2018, and I'm gonna look at my note here. In 2018, 84% of Google's revenue, Google as a business, Alphabet, came from Google Ads. And those revenue from those ads was $116 billion. So if you figure a click on a Google ad is somewhere around $2, maybe a little bit more, you can kind of do the math here real quick and see that there were billions and billions and billions of clicks on these Google ads. Somebody's clicking on them. Whether it's not you or not me, that's okay. Google probably doesn't care, but they drew a lot of clicks in 2018.
Well, my last question is this. Do you have one resource that you would recommend to somebody that wants to learn about Google Ads, or maybe wants to start putting together their first campaign?
If you really want to do this yourself, start with either Google Ads Help, it's ads.google.com, and go to the help section. They'll share videos and share information and do that. YouTube too. YouTube has a lot of great videos, and I've learned a lot over YouTube. What I would really recommend is call Michael Quinn and have Michael Quinn help you out here. As I said, it's really easy to set this up. To set up, all you need is a Gmail account and a credit card to set up Google Ads. To get good at it, though, you need a guy like Michael or a guy like myself to get good at this and make some money doing this. But if you want to learn for yourself, start at ads.google.com or on YouTube, and you can probably find enough information to get yourself up and get running.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Brad. You've shared a ton of great info with us, and I'll have some show notes in the notes as to where to get those resources. And thanks so much, Brad.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, Michael. It was great to talk to you.
A few takeaways I got from today's interview with Brad are that, one, Google Ads do work. Again, we talked about intent in this interview, meaning people that are on Google they're searching for probably one of three things. They're looking to have a question answered, they are shopping for a product or service, or they're trying to maybe find a place. So people are coming looking for an answer. And so if you can get your local business or your online retail store on Google, Google Ads are really the quickest way to get to the top, right? So you're basically renting that space directly from Google, and you can still do it at a pretty affordable price. Brad talked about being able to compete with the big dogs. So let's say you're a small local business and you've got national retailers advertising on Google in your local city. You can be right up there with them, and at a price that's probably not that unrealistic or that crazy compared to other advertising mediums. So I love that Brad busted a few myths, and one of them was that people don't click on these ads. I know from experience, Brad knows, and we've seen it for our clients, that people do click on these ads, customers do click on these ads, and it can produce real ROI. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and interviews just like this. And if you enjoyed this content and want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button. When you see that bell pop up, click that too, so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. We'll see you next time.